Less than a week after the Safe Third Country Agreement was amended, 8 people died attempting to cross the border by boat. Are you concerned that the changes you made to the Safe Third Country Agreement are going to encourage riskier crossings?
Of course, the tragedy is immeasurable. We think of the families and the extraordinarily difficult moments that were the last for these families, including young kids. We can't even imagine what they're going through. We need to be there to support families and folks like them. But I want us to be very, very careful about jumping to conclusions. This was a horrific story, and there is a proper investigation going on. We need to understand all the facts involved before we draw conclusions. But we do need to make sure we're doing everything we can and continuing to do everything we can to remain an open and welcoming country with a rigorous and well-applied immigration system that also protects the most vulnerable. That's what we'll continue to do.
Follow-up, I was watching Tout le monde en parle last night, like many people here, I'm sure. You said in French, Canada continues to be an open and welcoming country, but that we're favoring, or we favor people and privilégiés, people who come in a regular way. What do you mean by this, by favor?
Oh, one of the great strengths that Canada has is that we can continue to be a place that is positive about immigration. People around this country understand that welcoming people to our communities grows our economy, adds depth and richness to our lives, and builds a stronger future for us all. But a big part of that is predicated on people having confidence that we have a strong immigration system, that it's rigorously applied, that it actually is fair and responsible. And that's why we're continuing to move forward. We will continue to do more and more to welcome in people from around the world. But we're going to make sure that it's done in the right ways, appropriately, so people aren't putting themselves at risk by trying to cross borders illegally, where they're not giving money to criminals to help them come to a different country, but we're taking in people in a way that maximizes their chances of success. I'm extraordinarily excited for Jeremy Hansen. I've known him for a number of years, and he is an exceptional individual and will do all Canadians proud. There's no question about it. And I know I've spoken with enough people over the past while to realize that people are sort of, seems horrible to say, but kind of used to astronauts. We're used to people going up to space to the ISS, whether it's billionaires, whether it's people traveling around the world. Lots of people have done that. But every time you see a picture from those people, those astronauts in space, you see part of the curve of the Earth. Because for close to 50 years, everyone who's gone into space has just stuck to the orbit around the Earth. In the entire history of humanity, only 24 people have actually seen the full circle of the Earth. Because you have to get at least most of the way to the moon before you can see that. 24 people have ever seen with their own eyes the circle of the Earth. And now a Canadian is going to be part of the very next people to see that, the first non-American to do it. It's a big deal, and it's a credit to Jeremy, but it's also a credit to the amazing scientists, researchers, and workers at the Canadian Space Agency and at scientific institutions around the world who've been continuing to step up and contribute to the advancement of science. It's a great day for Canada. It's a great day for us all. It's not right that in a country as wealthy as Canada, in so many different ways, there still be far too many families can't afford to send their kids to the dentist. That's why last year we moved forward with a program to make sure the kids under 12 from families that don't have insurance coverage and make less than $90,000 a year are able to go visit the dentist. And we've seen about 250,000 kids already take advantage of that program. And that's one of the things we've seen with this program. As we've developed it, the initial estimates of how much it would cost has actually gone up because the need is far greater than people suspected. But that's why it's so important to do it. We should not want to live in a country where you can guess at how much money someone's parents made by the quality of their smile. It's about health, it's about respect, it's about doing the right thing, and that's why we're moving forward on dental care, and that's why it's so inconceivable to me that Conservatives continue to stand against delivering dental care for everyone in this country. But it goes to show their approach to things.
Merci, on va prendre deux dernières questions.
Bonjour, M. Trudeau. François dénommé Nouveau Info. The parliamentary budget officer says most people will be paying thousands of dollars more in carbon tax than they will get in rebates. Why do you continue to claim that most people will come out ahead?
First of all, everybody knows that we have to fight climate change. But more than just fighting climate change, we have to prepare and invest in innovating for the future. And the best way to do that is to ensure that there is a price on pollution. And that's exactly what we did. We did it at the federal level, imposing it on the provinces that didn't have one. But here in Quebec, it's been a long time that you've always had a price on pollution, So the federal backstop and program doesn't apply in Quebec. So families in Quebec haven't seen any shift in the carbon price as of April 1st, as they did elsewhere across the country. But elsewhere across the country, where we bring in the price on pollution under the federal backstop, we also bring in a climate action incentive that right now more than compensates for the added costs of the carbon tax. And this is what Conservatives continue to mislead Canadians about. We're fighting climate change at the same time as the climate action incentive comes into people's bank accounts 4 times a year, with hundreds of dollars to help them as they make choices that are better for their family and better for the environment. Conservatives still think we don't have to do anything to fight climate change. Well, I've got droughts and wildfires and increased hurricanes that prove them wrong about that. Canadians right across the country know we have to fight climate change, we have to do it in a way that stays affordable for people, and that's exactly what we will continue to do.
On va prendre une dernière question.
Annie-Claude Luneau for CBC. I want to talk about the Mass Casualty Commission report. There's been a lot of reports through the years asking for changes in the RCMP. As Prime Minister, how are you going to make sure that these changes happens this time?
Whether it's the Mass Casualty Commission report or many other reports that have come out over time, there is a clear need to do more to ensure that people are well served by their police of jurisdictions. Whether it's the RCMP or local police, there are lots of concrete suggestions around lines of communications, around transforming the culture, around making sure that people have the tools that are right for the communities they're in. We're looking very, very carefully at that report, and we will move forward and take on many of the recommendations, and we will be answering fulsomely to them in the coming weeks. Canadians deserve to feel safe in their communities, whether it's around gun control, whether it's around community policing, whether it's around support for mental health challenges in communities. There's a lot that we need to do, and we will be there as a federal government doing it.